All right, let's talk CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans. CJ Stroud is certainly a candidate for got let down by his teammates the most this week, in my opinion. I did not think he played bad, and I think there was a lot of issues with just the Texans' offense in general that we should talk about. Only 9 points, 0 points in the second half against the Rams, and what was a very winnable game. Let's get into it. So first, you have Nico Collins one-on-one on the outside. Okay, here we go, right? Nico Collins was a superstar level player last season. He's been a superstar level player. Let's see if he can make a superstar level play. Stroud takes a snap very quickly. Again, he sees a Kill Witherspoon covering his guy one-on-one. It's not there's a ton of separation or like this is the throw you have to make. It's really just it's the numbers on the back of the jersey more than anything. Okay, let's hit Nico Collins. Stroud's gonna put one up. It's a catchable ball and it just can't quite make the play. Would have been a tough catch. Honestly, that was really good defense, right? And I think that's kind of maybe what surprised people a little bit was that the Rams just did a really good job at defending Nico Collins. Like that wasn't necessarily what we expected to happen right away. But the reality is they, typically expect Nico Collins to be a superstar level of player. And when he's instead just kind of being just another guy in this game, like that really impacts things. This impacts things even more, though. This is just, the Texans have to figure this out. I mean, I don't know what was going on here. So, okay, this concept, you see that the Rams are showing as though they could be blitzing towards the offense's left, and the center is blocking towards the offense's right. So that's not ideal, right? Well, no, actually, they're still okay here. They're showing a blitz to the offense's left, and the center is blocking towards the offense's right. So that's a bad situation, right? Because you have, 3 players in that area. You have the left guard, the left tackle, and then the halfback who can potentially block. But there's 4 Rams players who could be rushing the passer, and in fact, all 4 are rushing the passer. So because of this, could there be a player who gets a straight shot to the quarterback? Well, yes, that's what's going to happen with the center blocking to the right. Could you have switched your protection in time? Perhaps. The Rams kind of showed this very late into the play, so sometimes it's just the quarterback has to read this and get the ball out of his hands quickly. Although here, Stroud takes the snap, doesn't read it, isn't even looking in that direction. And on top of this, I mentioned they only have 3 blockers and there are 4 players rushing the passer on that side of the field. Well, 2 of those blockers are blocking the same guy. The running back is helping out one of his offensive linemen when there's 2 guys getting a straight shot to the quarterback. Stroud tries to escape this pressure. That's not going to work. And now you get a sack there on 3rd down and 8. I mean, that's not good football. Like that's sloppy. And this was happening a lot. This play was probably a worse example because the last play, okay, there still was just too many guys. It was a good blitz. Like it's going to be difficult. This play though, you see, on paper, they have someone to block everybody if there is a heavy blitz here. Except when this begins, I don't know why this happens. I think the guard just didn't realize that the center was going to be blocking towards his side. It didn't read this play properly because the guard goes and blocks the player who was lined up near the center. So now the center isn't blocking anybody, and there are 2 Los Angeles Rams towards the bottom of the screen, and only the left tackle to do anything about this, basically. On top of this, that tackle manages to block 0 of them. It was a stunt, but got a little bit confused there as well. So now Stroud is just completely screwed. Again, maybe they thought the back was in there going to block, but he didn't block. So either way, you got to pick this stuff up. I mean, this isn't that difficult. It really isn't. Like this is not crazy what the Rams are doing on these plays. Again, would I be able to do it if I was out there? Absolutely not. But for NFL offensive linemen, you gotta be better than this. Stroud, to his credit, I mean, watch this: getting outside the pocket, being able to find a man, make a play work. Really good stuff from Stroud. But he shouldn't have had to do this. They need to be able to block this stuff. This isn't even a talent thing. If a defensive lineman lines up against you and beats you, okay, whatever. What are you going to do, right? Just go out there and try to win the next rep. But, these are just, you're giving them pressures. You can't do that. There was also some stuff like this. 2nd down and 4 right here. Stroud takes the snap. There's going to be pressure off of the edge. This is just beating the tackles. Very quick pressure. You'd maybe like Stroud to get the ball out of his hands quickly, but this is a quick pressure. Stroud does take the snap here. Again, would you have liked for him to find a way to avoid that sack? Perhaps, but you get these quick pressures enough, you're going to get sacked. It is what it is. So, got to clean that up. Also for the receiving game, this is a zone coverage concept. You see the route that Stroud is going to want to look towards right here. Stroud takes the snap, and this one is going to get pretty open here, right? I mean, there definitely is a window for this play to work. Also, sorry, I realized that I put the wrong route on the screen. It was the tight end's route, not the wide receiver doing this. But still, same idea. Bit of a window. Nice throw from Stroud, and it gets bobbled up and ultimately is incomplete. This happened on this play. It was not the only play that Stroud threw a nice pass, but it was ultimately not complete. This one as well, it happened a couple times. This one would have put them in field goal range. Stroud eventually rushed to get them in field goal range. In fact, we can shut up play because it was a good play by him. On this one, it's man coverage concept, cover 2 man, 10 seconds left. The Texans do have a timeout, trying to get at least like 10 yards to get them in, a potential field goal opportunity. It is in a dome, so that makes things a little bit easier. Stroud takes the snap. There is protection with a 3-man rush this time. He's able to step up in the pocket, and he looks downfield, realizes he can run. In that playoff game against the Chiefs, and even the playoff game before against the Chargers a little bit, you saw that he did do a very good job at using his legs. He's such a good athlete when he wants to be. He usually just doesn't love to run. Well, I thought we saw him do a good job at utilizing that asset more. Watch, he steps up in the pocket. He's going to pick up a first down and even gets out of bounds. Didn't really matter. They had a timeout, but I mean, you protect yourself, and who knows, maybe there was enough time left to try another play. Regardless, it's a really good play, and I want to see him do this more, and the fact that he was doing this more does get you a little bit excited if you're a Texans fan. Again, the negative plays of the Texans offense makes you less excited. This play as well, it's a zone coverage concept. Again, it's going to be tight end Dalton Schultz that you're going to look towards. On this one, it's going to be Jaden Higgins, the rookie, who's going to be running the route you see on your screen, trying to get into a gap in coverage. Down 5, 2nd and 23 situation. Hey, maybe you can make something happen. Stroud's going to take the snap, and it's a pretty well-ran route. There's a bit of separation. This is a great throw by CJ Stroud. I mean, this is difficult, right? It's not the easiest play in the world, but there's a chance you could get a first down, get in field goal range right here early on. Hey, even a field goal to make it a 2-point game matters a lot. Beautiful throw from Stroud that results in an interception. That's why you got to watch the games or use advanced stats instead of just looking at the box score, because, yeah, that was not Stroud's fault, and it results in an interception, make the numbers look worse, but really good play by CJ Stroud. Like, that's not even like a bad play by Stroud that ended up being worse. That's like actively a really good highlight reel level play by him that results in a pick. Just kind of one of those games. This play, I would say, sums up the whole game. A lot of pressure, has to throw off his back foot, makes a beautiful throw, and they're able to get a completion anyway. Stroud was doing what he could out there. Do not blame CJ Stroud for the offensive ineptitude in week 1 for Houston. He played very well, but ultimately this situation has to improve. Guys are going to have to get open more. They're going to have to make the catches, and more than anything, they just have to set their blocking concepts better. Like figure out how to block in front of him. That's got to be the biggest thing that the Texans have to work on. It's week 1. They have some new faces. This stuff happens, but got to get better at that if they're going to have a chance. That's what especially if you're playing Tampa Bay next week. It's not going to get easier. Tampa Bay is going to show a bunch of different things out at you there, so got to figure it out. That's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.